welcome to another edition of Cooking with Chef Gordon. My name is Gordon Rader, Executive Chef and Program Director at Indian Hills Community College. Now, we've been working with some basic elements over the past few takes. We've done some basic vegetable cuts, we've done some basic chicken cuts, and now we have all these bits and pieces laying around the kitchen, and you want to know what to do with those. So one of the big ideas with bringing in a whole chicken as opposed to buying parts is that you have some left over that you can utilize in soups, stocks, sauces, different elements throughout the week to economize. So we're going to start with a basic chicken stock, and we're going to go ahead and let me get a glove on. You want to really work clean with chicken carcass. Always a potential for salmonella, so we want to take precautions. I'm just going to go ahead and dump it in. Okay. We're going to get rid of this, get rid of the glove. We're going to go ahead and wash our hands. You know, Emerald always talks about the food police, and he's right, because they're everywhere. You don't want to get anybody sick, so wash your hands. Nice antibacterial soap. I've got my towel here. Now, chicken in the stock pot. That's all the carcass that we had left over from the chicken cutting expedition we went on. This is 4 chicken carcasses, and you're probably not going to have that much to begin with, but what I like to do is save 4 or 5 during the course of a month. Freeze them and then come back. So we're going to turn on the fire, and now we're going to add some aromatic elements. We talked about mirepoix, and we haven't cut these in any basic shape. They're just a rough chunk is what we call it. I've got carrot, celery, and onion, and that's really going to add our aromatic flavors to the stock. So we've added those. We also need a little bit of herb. So I've got parsley stems, and I always save the stems from that as I chop the parsley for garniture. Bay leaves, 2, black peppercorns whole, and then leaf thyme. And you can use fresh or dried, and this is dried in this instance, but either one's fine. I like the fresh when you can get it. We're going to add that right now. And basically, you can walk away from it. You don't need any salt at this point. We're going to cook this for about 2 hours, 3 hours max, and then we're going to strain the whole thing. Fine mesh strainer, we strain it in, and you can reduce it if you want to. In other words, you can put it on the stove, like I've done here, after I've strained it, and you can reduce it down a little bit. And so in other words, you're just over low heat, you're concentrating the flavors. It evaporates, becomes less of a product, but it evaporates and becomes more flavorful. So basically what we're going to do from here is make a soup. Basic chicken soup. You had some leftover chicken meat. I've taken the thigh and I've shredded it, and then the breast, I've cubed it. You could do either one or both, and I'm just doing a little bit of both to have some different texture. Got a small dice of carrot and celery. We talked about a brunoise dice, and there we go, because that adds some nice character to the soup as well as texture. I'm going to add that. And we just happen to have some diced zucchini, yellow squash, little red onion, and tomato. Just had that left over from yesterday's dinner, so we're going to go ahead and add that too, as opposed to throwing it away. And the chicken meat that was left over, I've got some diced and I've got some shredded. So we're going to add that. I'm going to put that back on the stove. Let that cook for 10 minutes, just enough to heat through those vegetables. And then you're going to add your noodles. We're going to use some basic egg noodles for the soup. You can use anything that you want. If you wanted to use fettuccine or linguine, that's great, or any of the 2,000 different kinds of pasta that's available these days. But this egg noodle is a quick cooker. I like to go ahead and blanch it ahead of time. I don't like to cook it with the soup. It adds too much starch to it, so I blanch it ahead of time. It takes about 3 to 4 minutes in some boiling water, rinse it, and now we're going to go into the soup. Parsley as well, and I just like the color it adds and the little bit of aromatic base that it adds to flavor. So, let me get a bowl for you. Little towel to keep from burning. And you can see the color that you've taken on in that stock from the chicken. So, 1, 2, I guess I'll take 3 ladles. And there you have it. the chicken noodle soup, home style, here at Hill's Kitchen. Thanks.